The media party, ignorance and guns, that is the topic of tonight's byline. You know, there's an old saying, better to let the world think that you are a fool than to open your mouth and prove it. Yesterday, Canada's media party opened their collectivist mouths to prove that they are fools when it comes to the issue of guns. What prompted them to do this again? Well, Peter Mackay wore a t-shirt. That's all it took. Well, that and the message on the shirt. See, this wasn't the fawning praise that the media party says for Justin Trudeau. They didn't automatically say, wow, Peter Mackay wore a t-shirt, he's just like us. There were no columns on how sexy he was in a t-shirt, no reports on how this makes him more likable and accessible to voters than that mean, distant Stephen Harper. No, that is saved for Crown Prince Justin Trudeau. Mackay, he got hammered for wearing a t-shirt. Of the t-shirt of the National Firearms Association, I should point out, was at a fundraiser in Edmonton last week. Mackay was asked to wear this shirt by Curtis Gaucher. Gaucher's a veteran who lost his left leg below the knee. He suffered some pretty tough injuries beyond that after stepping on an improvised explosive device while on foot patrol in Afghanistan. So Mackay's asked to wear the shirt. He says yes. Posed for a picture with Gaucher and his friend Erica Clark. So why is the media party freaking out? Because the t-shirt in question has an image of a maple leaf blended with an AR-15 and the NFA's new slogan, no compromise. The photo sat on the NFA's Facebook page and other social media platforms from last Friday until yesterday with no controversy. That is until Press Progress posted about this on Tuesday. Press Progress is a project of the Broadbent Institute, a far-left think tank named after former NDP leader Ed Broadbent. So Press Progress attacked Mackay and the NFA, and the next day, given their marching orders, the progressive media lined up to talk all about this. But when they did talk about it, they just proved their ignorance. It's an ignorance based on fear, the fear of something that these urban media types just don't know or understand. Let's start with David Common, anchoring political coverage last night on CBC.
Sticking with politics, a photo has landed Justice Minister Peter Mackay in the middle of a gun controversy. Canada's National Firearms Association has posted a photo of Mackay on its Facebook page. He's wearing a t-shirt with a logo of a silhouette of a rifle blended with a maple leaf. The words "No Compromise" are written below it. That photo is leading to questions about whether the Justice Minister is showing support for the gun lobby, which wants to legalize the possession of semi-automatic weapons.
Excuse me? What was that? Excuse me? I didn't realize there was a push to legalize semi-automatic weapons in Canada. I haven't heard of this campaign. And maybe that's because there isn't one. And the reason there isn't a campaign to legalize semi-automatic firearms in Canada is they're already legal. Some specific ones are not, but generally, semi-autos, perfectly legal. You get your license, you pay your money, you get the rifle. David Common and the army of journalists that work on our dime at CBC should know better. So should the Toronto Star. The Red Star put 2 reporters on this story, including their staff social justice reporter. Yet neither of these brainiacs know very much. They don't know how to do research either. They quoted New Democrat Charlie Angus, a former opponent of the gun registry turned gun grabber at his party's insistence. And his claim was that the NFA wants no gun laws in Canada. Here's the quote Angus gave and the Star ran with. The NFA is doing major lobbying with politicians for Peter Mackay to wear one of their t-shirts when they are calling for the stripping of all the gun laws in the country, and then later say he didn't know. He's either being very cynical or he's just not very bright. No, actually, Charlie, you're not very bright. I've covered this extensively. What the NFA wants, among other things, is a full repeal of Bill C-68, the Liberal monstrosity brought in by Jean Chrétien. But that doesn't mean they want no laws. I've spoken to them about their desire to change the law so that gun ownership is not a criminal act and that those without the right paperwork face fines, a ticketable offense for honest mistakes rather than mandatory minimum jail time. But why report the facts when you can scare the public with claims that Canada's version of the NRA is on the offensive? Part of what has the media party so worked up is that the rifle in the logo is the AR-15, a rifle that's perfectly legal and quite popular here in Canada, but a boogeyman to the ignorant jerks that populate much of the media in this country. Here's what Huffington Post had up. The AR-15 is one of the most controversial weapons on earth and has been at the center of the gun control debate in the United States. HuffPo writer Michael Boland then goes on to scare his readers by linking the AR-15 to the Sandy Hook shootings in the U.S. in late 2012. He doesn't point out that, hey, it's also one of the most popular firearms, if not the most popular, in the United States. It's owned by millions of Americans and thousands upon thousands of Canadians. And to gun owners, it's actually not that controversial at all. They use them every day without incident. But why deal in facts when you can just scare people or mock them? Showing that their story was not just about news, it was more about pushing an agenda. The Toronto Star actually included a Storify link that allowed them to take a bunch of tweets related to their story and show them on their website. So what did they show? Photos altered to mock Peter Mackay. It's actually incredible that they did this. Look, I'm all for having a rational debate about what kind of gun control, if any, is needed in Canada. I'm open to debating what needs to be repealed, where things can be fixed in an imperfect system. But let's make sure that we're having an informed debate, not one pushing the gun-grabbing agenda of left-wing think tanks or know-nothing media shills. And that's the byline.